In the last section, we learned how jQuery allows us to handle different types of events. When an event fired, we simply logged a message to the console. But in practice, we'll want to do a little bit more than that. For instance, we may want to hide or show content. jQuery allows us to not only do this, but do it in a graceful way. And to illustrate this, I've created this index.html file containing that same paragraph we had in the last section, but added several buttons to demonstrate the different types of ways that we can hide and show content using jQuery. Let's explore them by going into our app.js file and attaching them as the functions to our event handler. When the button with an ID of hide is clicked, we want to hide the paragraph element. When the show button is clicked, we want to show the paragraph element. When the fade in button is clicked, we want to fade in the paragraph element. When the fade out button is clicked, we want to fade out the paragraph element. When the slide up button is clicked, we want to slide the paragraph up to hide it. And when the slide down button is clicked, we want to slide the paragraph down to reveal it. That's quite a few functions that we added to our app.js file, but they all follow kind of a similar structure. Of course, we first select the button that we want to listen for a click on, as we learned in the last section. But in our callback function, we then select the paragraph element and invoke a particular method that we want on that element. In the instance where the hide button is clicked, we simply invoke the hide method that's attached to that paragraph element. And similarly, when we click the show button. The fade and slide functions are slightly more complex, but not much. They accept various parameters to determine how quickly or slowly that function executes. In this case, we've specified a string that says slow for each input. However, we could have been more specific and specified milliseconds that we wanted the function to execute in. I would encourage you to read the documentation about these functions and learn more about what types of parameters you can pass in. But for now, let's go to the browser and see these in action. And we begin with our paragraph showing, but if I click the hide button, we see that it hides our paragraph. If I click the show button, it shows it. If I click the fade out button, it fades the paragraph out before hiding it. And then when I click the fade in, it fades it in. I can also click the slide up button to hide the paragraph in a slide up way and the slide down button to reveal it in a slide down way. Hopefully this is starting to open up your imagination as to the power of jQuery. I would encourage you, of course, to play around with this functionality a little bit on your own, but when you're ready, let's move on to the next section.